Hello again. In the third video of genetics, we will continue with question 16. It says a test cross is done. Is done for what? As we know that a test cross, it is a test that's used for, it's like a Punnett square that's used for finding the genotype of unknown organism. Okay, by crossing it with an organism that's homozygous recessive. Okay, like both alleles are recessive. So it's used to determine if crossover has occurred. We know that crossover, it's like a process happening during the meiosis 1, and we cannot control it. Okay, so it's not this one. Prevents linked traits from being passed on. Also, this is a case in which we can not do anything with it. Okay, it's not something that's done by the test cross. To determine if a person has Huntington disease. For Huntington disease, as I mentioned before in the second video, it is a disease that cannot be determined during by this test. It should be distinguished by the genetic screening tests like gene sequencing for that gene which is responsible for this disease to prevent crossover from occurring. And this is also, it's not true. It cannot be prevented, the crossing over, as I mentioned before. So the last one, it says, as we can see, it says to determine if an organism exhibiting the dominant phenotype is carrying a recessive allele for that trait. So it is what I said before. It is useful for finding the genotype of unknown organism. Okay, by crossing it with the homozygous recessive one, like this. Okay, so we can find that either this organism, okay, this one, let's say it is X, okay, either it is homozygous dominant or heterozygous. So we will find it by crossing it with this one. This is the fixed one, and we don't know the X. Okay, what is it? So we will find either it's homozygous dominant or heterozygous. It means either it is A capital A small or A capital A capital. So we will find that either the organism exhibiting the dominant phenotype is carrying recessive allele or not. Okay, does it carrying this recessive allele or it doesn't carrying it? So that is the answer for the question, and it is E. Okay, so a test cross is done to determine if an organism exhibiting the dominant phenotype is it carrying recessive alleles for that trait or it doesn't carrying it. That's it. So the next question says a farmer planted 1,000 seeds of corn. Okay, 1,000 seeds of corn. The offsprings were the offsprings. Let me make it clear. Remove this part, please. Okay, so a farmer planted 1,000 seeds of corn. The offspring were 544 of them are tall and yellow, and 188 tall with green seeds. 183 are short with yellow seed, and 64 with green seeds, short with green seed. So as we can see, this is dihybrid cross. Okay, it is dihybrid cross. Okay, it is a dihybrid cross. It means we are studying two traits. One of them is the length of the plant. It's related, either it will be tall or it will be short. Okay, and the other trait, it's about the color of the seed. Either it will be green or it will be yellow. So it's about dihybrid cross. And if we are looking to the numbers that we have, 544, 188, 183, and 64, it's very near to the, it's very similar to the dihybrid cross, to this range 9, 3, 3, 1. Okay, so it's very similar and very close to this range of the genotypes. So what were the genotypes of the parents? So as we know that in order to have this range, okay, this ratio, let's say, it should be heterozygous. Both plants, for the both traits, it should be heterozygous, and we can find this answer in E. Okay, T capital, T small, Y capital, Y small. As we can see, for both traits, okay, they are heterozygous, and in the second plant it will be the same. Okay, both traits, they should be heterozygous for the both traits. So the answer for the question is E. When we are crossing these two plants, we can get a ratio like this. Okay, which it is very similar to the 544, 188, 183, and 64. Why in the other four cases we cannot find such variability or such ratio? So I hope it's clear. And now let us go to the next question, which it says the genotype ratio from a monohybrid cross. So it's genotype. Okay, we have to pay attention because it's different in genotype and in phenotype. From a monohybrid cross. Okay, from a monohybrid cross. Monohybrid, it means studying only one trait. Okay, while in the case of dihybrid cross, we are studying two traits. Okay, either it will be one homozygous dominant, one hybrid, and one homozygous recessive. This is not true. At least we should have like 4. The sum of it should be 4, but this is not. It's 3. It is totally wrong. So 3, 1. 3 of them it will be homozygous dominant, and 1 of them it will be hybrid. Also, this one is not true, because when we have 2 in the case of monohybrid cross, when we have 2 heterozygous, the ratio it will be 1 to 1. It's one of them is homozygous dominant, 1 hybrid, and 1 homozygous recessive. Okay, and 3, 1, it will be like 3 hybrid, 1 homozygous recessive. It's not clear and it's not related to the question. Cannot be stated universal. This is not true. For example, guys, when you have A capital A small crossed with A capital A small, so we should make the Punnett square. Okay, let me change the color in order to be clear. So it will be A capital A small, A capital A small, and we have to cross it. A capital A capital then it will be A capital A small, A capital A small, and A small, A small. As we can see, we have from here we have one homozygous dominant. This is one of the homozygous dominant, and we have two heterozygous. That's why we say two. This is one and this is two, and we have one homozygous recessive. So the ratio is 1 to 1. Okay, this is for the genotypic ratio in the case of monohybrid cross. But the phenotypic ratio, it will be 3 1. Okay, it will be 3 1. Now let us move to the questions 19 and 20, which it is about the pedigree. As we know, the pedigree is a chart. Okay, it's a chart like this, which it is used for finding the probability of a family to have that disease or they will not have it. Okay, and we know that in the probability in the pedigree we have symbols like this. For example, when it's square or in the form of box, it's for male, and when it's in the form of circle, it's for the female. Okay, and this line here, it means crossing, or we can say mating. Okay, as we can see, when the male and female have mating or crossing, they have three siblings. One son, the second son, and they have one daughter. But as we can see, these boxes, this one and this one, are colored. It means they are infected, they have a disease. So when we have a box or a circle that's colored in a black color, okay, it means it is infected. Okay, they have the disease. Okay, when the box or the circles are completely colored. But when we can see half of it is colored by black, it means the patient or the person is a carrier for the disease. Okay, so when the half of the box or of the circle is colored, it means that person is a carrier of that disease. And a carrier, it means that person has that allele, but the disease is not expressed. So let us see the answers. What do we have in the answers? We have 5 choices here. So which is true of the shaded in trait? Which is true of the shaded in trait? So the trait is autosomal recessive or autosomal dominant, or sex-linked dominant and sex-linked recessive. The trait is inherited as an incomplete dominant. This is not true. So as we can see, now we have to eliminate four of the following. We have to eliminate which one is wrong, and by that way we can find the right answer. So for the first part, which we have, it's about the sex linked. So guys, from this chart we can find that the disease is not sex linked. It's not sex linked disease. Okay, because let me change the color in order to show you. it's not sex linked. Why? Because here, as we can see, the female is infected. Okay, so the female is XX. Okay, it means both X's are infected. When this female makes a marriage or mates with this male, which is XY, okay, here in their siblings, okay, in their babies, at least one of them it should be infected, at least the male one, okay, it should be infected, because this male, okay, takes one of the X's here, okay, and the Y from the male. And we know that in the case of sex linked, if the female is infected, so the male directly will be infected, okay, with that disease. But we do not see this scenario here in this chart, okay, so the disease is not sex linked, neither sex linked dominant or recessive, because as we can see, let me clear this part, sorry. So guys, as you can see, the male is normal, okay, so the disease or it's not sex linked trait. So we will eliminate these two possible answers here. It means the sex linked dominant and the sex linked recessive. So now we have the autosomal recessive and autosomal dominant. So now let us see, is it the disease was dominant or recessive? Here we can see from this one, from this part, so from this part, as we can see here, the male is infected. When mates with this female that's normal, only one of the males, one of the males is infected here. And this is in case of autosomal, it's not linked to the sex traits, okay, sex linked traits, it's carried by the autosomes. And we can see here only one of the males is infected. Here the male is not infected and the female is normal. Here the females are normal. So as we can see, it looks like this disease or this case, it's recessive, okay, it is recessive because it's shown in some of the babies while it's not shown in the others, okay. So it is, so the answer for the question, it is the trait is autosomal recessive, it is this one, okay. And I hope it's clear. Now we have another question related to this chart. What is the most likely genotype for person C? So this is person C, this is the C, okay, this one, we can see it here. So what's the possible genotype for that person? So we said that here the male is infected, as we can see, the male is infected, the female is normal. When they have mate, okay, here the male is also infected, okay. So it may be here, maybe this female, it should has one of the recessive alleles, it should, okay. While the next allele is from the male, from this one. So the possible genotype of the person, it should be A capital, A small. It means one recessive allele, because we mentioned that from here. We say that it's autosomal recessive disorder. Okay, so here the female it should donate one of the copy of the alleles, okay, because it is recessive disorder. So guys, I hope they are clear. In case if you have any question or if you couldn't understand it, so please write in the comments. I will be ready to answer your question. And thank you so much for your attention.